So yeah, right now is the moment where I'm just trying to let people catch up, and I'm also pulling it up on my phone. And y'all tune in too, so y'all can be aware of like the live chat in case like some of y'all get some questions or anything.
I think it's going to over.
No, I mean obviously like cut your volume off so it don't start echoing.
I just over my internet connection.
I got you. So I see that for everybody that's watching right now, I'm just trying to give it a couple minutes to let people come in before we get started. I'm glad to have you here today.
Alright, I'm glad to hear too.
Well, hey man, how you doing? I think let me see. I'll give you about 30 more seconds before we officially start. What's good? Oh wow, we got 10 viewers. Let's go ahead and get this kicked off before people start leaving. So guys, first I want to just say thank you for taking time out of your day to be able to just come and watch this podcast. This is episode 2 in our series that as we're going to keep moving up further and further within the Discord. The interviewees that we're going to have today is members of the private group, which is you have to submit a couple of indicators, talk to the admins, and basically go through another little mini interview to be able to get into the private group. And from there you just see just the learning accelerates. And I'm not going to talk about the worth right now. It's going to be a section where they'll tell you their position on that. And that I gotta say, for everybody that's going to be in this call, as you can see on the screen, they're just really successful. Some of them been in here for over a year, and some of them been in here for 3 months. So you're gonna get a wide range of just views and opinions, but you're just gonna see just the love for no nonsense forex in the Discord and everything. And all of these people are just gonna be successful. And I say I can't wait till we all either in the conference or all can say we all funded and things like that. Now that just cut out all the mess. If everybody, would y'all like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so my name is Jordan. My Discord name is Air Jordan, and I'm from the U.S.
Hi guys, my name is Philip. Also, my Discord username is Philip. I'm from Croatia in Europe, and I'm 28 years old.
Okay.
Guys, I am Luciano. My name is Lucky from the Discord. I am from São Paulo. I'm 42 years old, guys, and just new to the program. I'm being from this Discord since this year, and I have been enjoying lots of it.
Okay, wait. How did you pronounce your name? This whole time, I think I've been mispronouncing it in my head.
Oh, no, so you have to be pronouncing just fine. I don't know if you used to say Lucky. I'm Lucky from Luciano. You guys call me Lucky. Anyway, for us, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, good. So, first we're gonna get it kicked off. Y'all can just go in the same order, or you could just jump in. I want you to kind of tell all the audience that describe your journey from forex, kind of like what got you interested, where like basically just give us your overall forex journey.
Alright, so what got me into forex is basically just the financial freedom. Like, I wanted to be able to have time freedom and location freedom, and be able to travel the world and create new experiences for myself. And so as far as forex is concerned, I actually didn't start out in forex. I started out trading stocks, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Ricky Gutierrez.
Oh yeah. You talking about with
Yeah,
D-Gas and U-Gas?
Yeah, DWT and UWT and all that stuff. Yeah, so that's where I started, and he was preaching about the MACD and RSI, but then I was following him for, I guess I started in about August, and I was following him for about 2 months or so. And then I realized with the pattern day trading rule, which says you have to have $25,000 in your account to be able to trade more than 3 times in a week, it would be a long time before I'd have that type of money to be able to trade constantly. So I decided that I would have to make a new Forex. And so the first Forex guru that I came across was Jay Take Profits. And I didn't follow him for too long because I went back in his past videos and I figured out he was associated with iMarkets Live. And I've heard some pretty negative things about them. So from there, I went to a guy named Sam Stevens, and he seemed really trustworthy because he was a floor trader for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and what he preached was supply and demand. And I was following him for a while, and then I realized that he had a $1,000 course that he was trying to promote. So, and I couldn't afford that, so I didn't like the idea of having information left out. I figured if I was going to be following someone, I would want all the information that I would need to have a successful system.
Yeah.
So then I made another switch, and I started following this guy named Ty on YouTube, and he was all about Japanese candlesticks. So I went in on learning Japanese candlesticks, all the patterns and stuff, like Harambe and Dolphin. And he was also a trend trader. So I was learning about that. And at this point, I was getting pretty confident with this system because the way he preached candlesticks was that, like, they really tell you where price is going to go. And then I figured out that really wasn't the case. And so I had to make a pivot off of that. And at this point, looking back on it, I realized my trade management really wasn't that good. Like at that point, I was really just doing 2-to-1 risk reward, and I placed my stop loss right above the trend line. And looking back on it, it wasn't a good strategy at all. And like I said, I was getting pretty confident at this point, and I started trading with a small account. And it was crazy because I lost 10 times in a row over the course of a week following this strategy. And it was kind of unbelievable to me because this was supposed to be kind of like the holy grail. Like, I'm learning the candlesticks, like, I'm finding these good patterns, and really none of it worked. And the craziest thing was none of these trades really went to profit at all. So it was almost like someone was just like watching me take these trades and just taking price the other direction, which I find out might actually be the case. So after that, I found the bear market video, which kind of got me into not just Forex, and then I watched the big banks video.
That's good, man. I gotta say, me and you, we more similar than different in a lot of ways. I'm glad to see that. And so, Philip, would you care to let everybody know your Forex journey?
Yeah, sure. I think we had the same motivation, like Jordan. I just was looking for, some financial independence, something that I can do from home and that I can do from wherever. And I got hooked into Forex trading actually by some shady broker. To be honest, I got tricked into putting some money there. He actually gave signals. This was very shady, you didn't put the money on their account. You had to put it through some crypto wallets, something. No regulation, no names. It was just very shady, and I was stupid enough to fall for that. The problem was when I wanted to cash out, it was basically, but you shouldn't, you really shouldn't. So I realized that that's not the way, that I was tricked. the only good thing from that guy is that he got me to baby pips. So I went actually before even learning the basic baby pips. I went and put me on. So from there I went to baby pips. I actually like it very much. I think any trader should go through baby pips at some point, and even I revisit it even to this day, from time to time when I forget something. And then there was this one guy that I was working with, work around the world. So there was this Italian guy that's been doing Forex and kind of showed it to me, and he was like my, let's say, mentor for a couple of weeks or so. And he was teaching me, yes, Fibonacci is important, what lines are important, Elliott waves are important, trend lines, all of that. And, every time when I ask like a question, okay, now I draw a trend line, but can I test this on past data? It was always, but it's difficult, it depends when you see the chart, it depends on the time frame you are, because we were jumping time frames, gonna do analysis on a daily time frame, then we're gonna do it on 4 hour, then on 1 hour. At least we weren't going lower than that. So yeah, that was something that I did. I didn't, because I lost already some money, I was now very careful. I was doing everything demo. And then I think I saw the Big Banks video, and I'm not sure which is the first video from VP that I saw. Immediately it clicked, even in Big Banks video, but especially I think I saw the risk video among the first ones. And then with that, when I saw someone from chat is complaining about my mic. Do you guys hear me properly or?
I don't know. I say just go ahead and keep talking. Yeah, I can hear you good.
Now I can hear fine.
Yeah, I say just go ahead and finish.
Okay. So when I saw the risk video, gave it like no bullshit, just straight up, you need to do this, you need to do this, you stick to this, you stick to this. And when, I started getting into it more, and then it was like, well, you have to backtest everything. He gave us a strict, structure for backtesting, and then it just clicked for me. And, okay, even if this guy is full of shit, I can test it out. That's great. And then, he says, yeah, go ahead and test it out. Don't do it without testing it. And then it just clicked for me. From that moment on, I said, okay, this guy has something to say, and I'm going to listen to it. Then I switched to that and didn't really follow any other systems. Because as soon as I found something, it was, yes, you have to pay the course, yes, you have to do, and then a guy tries to sell you, I made 300% in a week. And then I tell him, okay, but why are you selling anything to me then? Go ahead and make $1 million in like 6 months. Why do you need me? And then, but yes, this was a good week. Okay. Yeah, that's it for me.
Hello? Oh, okay. But that's good. So I'm seeing that like everybody kind of started off with just not necessarily the best mentors and everything, and just seeing that everybody. It seemed like it's a common trend that both of y'all started off with trend lines and price action. Is that a fair thing to say about y'all?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely the most common thing that's preached by all the Forex gurus, the get rich quick stuff. It's pretty much always like the trend lines and stuff like that. So.
And also, it's actually interesting to hear you say that, Philip, because as you was talking, I could hear VP talking right through you through the trend line video, talking about it depends on like when you look at it, how you draw it, and like all that other kind of stuff. And it's just interesting. I gotta say, I went through Baby Pips a little bit, but I gotta say I never actually finished it. So I don't know if that left personally, like for me, it got kind of redundant. I don't know. Or Jordan, did you go through baby pips?
I went through like the beginning stuff, but like you, I didn't finish it completely.
Liquid, did you?
Actually, I gave it a pass by baby pips, but I didn't go through it all because I was actually used to trading the financial markets a few years already. I started trading mostly stocks and indices. And then when I found VP's YouTube channel, man, like I said to you guys, I'm down for it because I had been trading many strategies, all the dirty dozen stuff, all this, and that kind of thing you actually trade with your feeling. It's sad, we all suck at that. We can get the way to be consistent and to be winners. And I believe the no-nonsense forex trade is the only way you can really try to build your system and make a profitable system. So let me tell you guys a little bit of my story, my journey. That was the start of my journey when I found this YouTube channel. Then, well, I started trading, back testing a whole bunch of indicators. And at first, I was only making a rough back test, counting wins, losses, and chalk-ups. And when I saw there was they would get access to the private group, that was kind of funny because I had already tested so many indicators, and I was like so excited and jacked up. I was like, man, let me impress the guy, impress the admin here. And then I started sending firewire. So many spreadsheets, so many indicators back testing, the Oracle all messed up, lots of the trades were kind of messy filtered, and he wasn't understanding what I was doing. So it was kind of hard for me at the beginning. And then at this point, your A1 YouTube channel came up. Man, it was such a big help for me because I love doing back tests. And I have been doing the same way until now. And also you were kind enough to send me your spreadsheets. I have been using them so much. I have so many of them already filled already. And from that point on, it was really easy for me to get access to the private group. I just chose some two indicators that I thought they would make the cut, fill in the spreadsheets that I was supposed to. And also I had to be very careful because the admins guys have a very good eye, and so if you make a mistake, a bad call, they will certainly catch you. And to me more than once. But then it was alright. So it was cool.
Okay. Man, that's really good to hear. And I know me and Liquid, we was talking a whole bunch, especially trying to get him into the Discord and everything. And I gotta say, it's been so many people that I've done help get into the private group, but just not even just necessarily that, just to make the algorithm better and things like that. So anybody who's watching this video now or in the future, don't be afraid to text me. Or at the end of the day, don't be afraid to just private message anybody, because it's kind of hard to get one-on-one help in just a regular channel service. Pick somebody that you see real friendly, they're answering questions, they're being just helpful, adviseful, and just message them and ask them a question. Like I think Jordan, because we were talking about it last night, you just asked Judge a question and didn't he answer you?
Yeah, I asked Judge a question a couple weeks ago, and yeah, he answered me pretty quickly. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask the right questions. Everybody's pretty friendly here, and we're all just trying to achieve the same goal. So
Yes.
And actually,
I agree definitely.
there's actually one. Go ahead and tell the everybody in the audience that question you asked them, 'cause I think I want to talk about it with everybody real quick.
I asked Judge, what's the one thing that he wished he knew when he got started trading no-nonsense forex, and then he told me that there wasn't anything that he wished he knew when he started. So that just let me know that we have all the information, we got all the resources that we need to be successful. We just gotta execute.
Philip or Liquid, do you got any comments? Like you want to tell everybody what you wish you would have known when you started No Nonsense Forex?
That's a good question. I believe for me, I believe that it's so cool that I the amount of information I have been getting here, it's been so cool. They're almost at the right time, especially also because we did and to put the right things on the exact order, like we should consume the material. And so I believe this has been happening all good. Always we have something that's so amazing on the Discord, because always sometimes I get stuck on my work and I can't go forward, and I go on the Discord, I shoot my question, and there's always somebody jumping right into the proper knowledge, helping moving forward. So man, this is really awesome.
And so the next question I would like to ask, because we all done kind of already touched on the topic of just finding no nonsense Forex and getting into it, what would you say is like the biggest learning curve when coming to no nonsense Forex? Like, what would you say is the hardest part about it?
Really, I don't believe it's such hard work. I believe it's most time consuming, and I believe so you have to organize yourself to get your time to put into it. I have been able to put at least 2 or 3 hours a day, sometimes more, when I going to back test, consume material, eyeball indicators, eyeball my charts to try and find best settings and best combinations. I believe perhaps the hardest part is to organize yourself so you can dedicate your time into it, so you can grow your system and build your skills through this program.
I would disagree. I agree that it's difficult to keep all the tests organized and things like that. For me, the most difficult part is just feel like we are hanging our head against the wall most of the time, because 99% of the things that you try usually do not work, or do not work as well as you would like them to work. So it's just, if you are an emotional person, you can let it get to you. So if I test an indicator and it's bad, it's bad, end of story. If I test a baseline for like 6 to 8 hours during 2 or 3 days and it's shit. You have to come to peace with it that you just didn't waste those 3 days, but you did not get ahead in your. And there were a lot of tests for me that just went like that. Maybe it's my thing, maybe I don't know how to eyeball correctly or something, but it just takes a lot of time to progress. And I feel that's something that we all need to come to peace with. You're testing it, it's most likely going to fail, but it's okay. You learn something in the process and keep going. Okay, put that indicator on the side, you may use it one day with some things. Doesn't matter, let's go. Just, testing 10, 15 indicators and then realizing, okay, maybe I will use 1 or 2 of them. It's fine, but the 13 of them, I'm not going to use it. Just, experiencing basically failure on a daily basis is something that you need to get used to, because at least that's from my experience, that's what I think.
Yeah, eventually it happens for everyone of us.
Yeah, I gotta say, I can hop on behind that, with just starting off in the beginning. A lot of stuff ain't gonna work, but the thing is, it's like how you were saying, through everything, like say you test 13, 15 of those, you find out 3 reasons why you did good, and you also still have 12 other reasons why you did good, because now you know what not to do. Now like you say, you talked about you're not that good at eyeballing. Well, the more you test, the more you do things, you get more of a knack of already looking at an indicator and seeing, how would I use it? Okay, that will work, or that wouldn't work. It just kind of like a thing. It's kind of like, say, if you played a sport, the first time you do it, unless you just naturally gifted, it's not gonna look pretty. Like, say if you're trying to do ballroom dancing, you try to get out there, you're gonna embarrass yourself. But after a while, after practice, you can just get into an uncomfortable environment, but you can still perform and do what you need to do. But that's good.
I think you learn so much stuff by just going through the process of testing. You kind of figure out what you need to be looking for and what works and what doesn't. Like, don't be afraid to put something together and see it through. Because I know sometimes, like for myself, I'm a little bit indecisive. Like, I don't want to dive into something, and I end up coming back and changing stuff. So it's like, it's a good idea to just have something together, go through, test it out, test the whole process. That way, you kind of know how these things work together, and you know what to look for the next time you come to it.
I would just like to add, the usual judges rant about, no EA backtesting at the beginning. I mean, because I can understand that. Because the more you do, the more time you invest just looking at the chart with your indicators on it, the more you understand it and you get the feeling of it. That's something that no EA can give you. And it's fine if you do it plenty and you have that understanding, it's fine to use an EA, of course. If you just try to use, and especially optimizer features on any EAs, that's just gonna destroy you. You will not understand anything, will not know the nuances. You won't even know what the indicator does.
Preach.
You won't know how it reacts in even what is a ranging market. You can have a ranging market with large wicks. You can have a ranging market with, just full body candles or whatever. You need to get the feeling. You need to see how the indicator behaves. And if you spend like 30 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour testing one indicator on 5, 6, 10.
Oh, hold on.
You will know that indicator a little bit better.
I was saying, go ahead. Your mic was going in and out.
Also, somebody put it in the Discord, put it really well. It's like EAs, they give you the answer, but they don't give you the explanation.
Oh.
I think that's good. I think for me personally, I'm far from using EAs. I tried it a little bit, but I still don't believe it. If I program it myself, if I understand it to the core, then okay. But if I just take someone's, something, I put the indicators in and it shows me 60% ROI, I don't believe that. I'm not confident in trading that system. If I'm not confident, it doesn't matter if I have a system.
Yeah, when it comes to like trading for a prop firm or something, I definitely want to be able to see the results that I got with my own eyes and not completely just have blind faith in an EA.
I'll get myself some.
I apologize for that. My parents had called me back out. But I guess let's just take a side quick and just answer Hydra's question from the chase. And my question is, how long did it take everyone to get into the private group after putting their completed spreadsheets? Haha. So I gotta say, once I finally, so I'm guessing, I guess after he said he submitted, I would say only took me 1 day for the actual admins to go through to verify it and look at it, because they're not going to just let you in. So that's the before I just open it up for y'all. One other thing, like SoftFX, it's a simulator. So the difference between an EA and a simulator is the simulator just shows you the candles. You still have to place the trades and everything, but for EAs, it places the trades for you. That's what I see is the main difference between the simulator and the EA. Now y'all comment on that, guys?
Yeah, most people still consider SoftFX as manual backtesting, but EAs are pretty much like hands-free, like it does pretty much everything for you. But with Soft, you can still see where your trades are and stuff like that. So.
Also, I would like to add, Hydrius, we send these spreadsheets to the admins, and some of these guys are more busy, some of them are less busy, and me personally, I sent it to Million Miles. Shout out to Million Miles. I was cheering for him in the competition because he accepted me into the private group. He was sixth in the end, but it just sometimes it will take them longer, sometimes it will take them shorter. But I also got accepted in 1 day or 2 days. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me, I think, 3 or 4 days, but I think I first sent mine to G-Man, and he didn't respond, so then I sent it to Firewhite, and he got back to me pretty quickly. So.
Liquid, how long did it take you?
For me, like I said, I believe I gave Firewhite a hard time because my first practice was such a mess and started sending a whole bunch of indicators. I believe I drove him crazy. And there was a time when I thought that he was giving me a hard time, and I guess it was the other way around. It was good to me. I just kept it to myself. I kept working. Then I found you, Chris, your YouTube channel. You helped me a lot. Then it was easy. I sent my spreadsheets to him, but it took him kind of, I believe, a week. He was kind of busy at that time. It took a week for him to go through the material, but then it was okay.
Okay.
Also, shout out to Firewhite. He's an absolute passion.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. And I believe I actually have to thank him. He really demanded a high level of work, and it was good for me at the end because it made me push so much harder. Because if we backtest it not in a proper manner, how can we trust our system for the
So I see that we're talking about the Discord and private group and everything, and I'm really happy about it. And so what I want each one of y'all to do is to first give your first impressions of the private group, and then give an overall summary of is it worth it, to basically tell people, yeah, you should join it, or all the work that you put in, was it worth getting into it?
Okay. Well, for me, the impressions I had from the private group, I was so happy to get in. So much information, new information. I didn't have the time to get into so many indicators, some different indicators from the open channels. Also the spreadsheets, the indicator spreadsheets, and another indicators, and they're actually more reliable than the ones we have on the open channels. Not to mention your news avoidance spreadsheets, also the PPZ as well, making the ability you have now for making all those spreadsheets. So you get access to a lot of content, and it's definitely worth it.
Philip?
Yeah, for me, it's
Jordan?
it's definitely worth it as well. Just the access to the information that you get in the private group, and the indicators, and another thing is just the questions that are asked in the private group. I guess they're more likely to be relevant to what you're going through. You're not going to get any beginner questions. It's all going to be more in-depth, no nonsense forest questions that might actually be a little bit more relevant to what you're actually going through at that point in time.
I would agree with both of them. Yeah, it's just every single post I see in private channels is very relevant for. I mean, I look at it and I read all of the posts. If I go to general no-nonsense forest chat, I kind of skip through the posts because I know it's usually banter. In private general chat, I read every post. I recognize myself in a lot of those posts, and I feel like I am at the level with the rest of the guys, and I feel all the inputs are important there. The indicators, of course, are, yes, there are indicators, and the results are more reliable, and we are all kind of working on it, sharing it, which is great, of course. But honestly, even for indicators, even if you look at the public spreadsheet, and if you just scroll through the general channels, confirmation indicators, you'll find plenty of indicators in Discord that you can build a system out of. It's just that it's on you to try to mix them together and work with them. I don't, the guys that are expecting, some holy grail indicators in the private group, I think you're gonna be a little.
Yeah. I would agree. There's definitely quality information in the general chat. It's just you don't have to do as much like sifting through the information. It's more concentrated. It's just easier to find things that you're looking for.
Okay. And so can y'all think of like any negatives or like any dirty laundry about the private group, or like anything you wish that would be better?
Not really, I don't.
Yeah, at the moment I really don't have any improvements for it. I think it's pretty set up pretty well. So
Okay. I think I guess this is where we could differ. I think honestly one thing that we're not doing a real good job about is that we ask our questions and things like that, but we really don't like ask them, like, how am I trying to say it? So like, you know how we was talking about earlier, and like the reason why I started making this podcast, that kind of just like help give people perspective on like what we're trading, what we're testing, and things like that. Like, it's not an actual Discord amongst people. It's kind of like I feel like the private group right now is kind of like a question and answer instead of actual like conversing with each other and like building each other up and like helping each other get better. Because like like how can I explain this? Because like in the private general chat, we can see, like, you can see many people like they sending screenshots of their spreadsheets and saying like, hey, how can I get better and things like that. But I guess, make a long story short, I feel like as we grow up, we begin to start focusing more on the positives and just ignoring the negatives. Kind of like how we was talking about earlier before we hopped on the live. We like the trade call chats. Don't nobody say, hey, my stop loss just got hit. Or we don't say, hey, I just found this busted indicator, or just something like that. I feel like it's a little bit more like lacking, and like maybe us four or somebody else can be could be the forefront to actually start saying, hey, I tested out so and so indicators and it wasn't that bad, or something like that. What y'all think about it?
I would agree with you that there is that piece missing, and that's why I love the podcast. Just that for me personally, I do get down on myself sometimes, and I use the trade psychology channel for that. And whenever I posted, and it was usually just me bitching about how difficult my trading life is. But even with that, I get supportive comments. I get people saying, yeah, we've all been going through. I actually saw Judge a couple of weeks ago, I think. He posted in Trade Psychology, I'm just feeling like right after the competition, I think he wrote, man, I'm demotivated, or something like that. So I agree there should be a place where we can share. But also, I'm not really sure that the Discord is maybe the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because if you are talking to some guy on the, let's say, private general chat channel, you exchange, 40 messages, and someone intersects it with something, and I think it could get cluttered. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong,
but yeah, I feel you, I understand. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying, how that can quickly get gutted. 'Cause, I mean, day by day, we increasing by the numbers. Shoot, we can just wake up tomorrow and see 7 new people just join the private group chat. And so I can see how that will quickly get cluttered and everything like that. Philip or Jordan, do y'all got an opinion on it?
Yeah, I would agree with what y'all said so far. A lot of times, like, some questions will be asked, and people will get answers, but I guess not necessarily the context and like the in-depth information that would really help your understanding. That's why I really think your channel is important, because if anybody asks a question, you're gonna answer it. You can answer it with some context, and I think it really just helps understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, if you did a podcast once a week for 2 hours, you would have enough material for the next, like, 2 or 3 years. Because it's just so much, you can just pick one guy, I don't know, one of the admins, and you can talk to them for 3 hours about their own journey. And you can take a guy, that has less experience, whatever, like you're doing now. I mean, there's infinite amount of we can sit here and talk about, I don't know, C2 lines cross indicators for like 3 hours, no problem. And I think vocal, voice conversations about this are more. Voice is a better medium for discussing these things than just.
Okay. And one other thing I wanted to ask you, so like so this is kind of turning a little bit away from the Discord and more to yourselves. Tell us a little bit some of your short and long term goals and where you're at with it.
Well, for me, I guess the shortest term goal would be to get into the private algo group, which means that I developed a profitable algorithm, which it wouldn't have been forward tested, but that's the first goal. And then I guess a little bit longer would be prop firm, and then after that, the final end goal would be financial freedom, not having to go work for someone. So that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think it's exactly the same for me. It's just that I'm trying to not get bogged down by these goals. I'm not trying to give myself deadlines. I'm trying to enjoy the experience because I noticed that that's how I learn better. I'm just trying to, be in it for the ride. Journey before destination.
All right. Oh, myself, as for the goals, when I started this journey, I was just looking to be able to trade consistently and to make profit on the markets on a consistent basis. And then I saw there were some guys from the Discord that were actually prop firm traders that looked at it and said, "Oh, come on, this is such a far dream for me." And as I started building my skills, I'm looking now and say, "Oh, perhaps I'm halfway there already. I don't know." So my whole trading life has been changed a lot since I started this program. I can say now I'm making a living of trading the markets, but at least I now can say I am profitable, and I am trading like the same way VP has instructed us to do. I trade like 15 minutes a day. I'm not gonna say I don't look at my charts many times a day. I look at them because I enjoy it, but I don't change my system any way whatsoever. And so I believe perhaps I have been able to achieve at least a small part of my initial goals here.
Okay, that's good, and that's one big thing I want to also emphasize to everybody who's watching it in the stream is that set long-term and short-term goals. Like said, your only goal can't be, I want to be a prop firm trader. That's a really far and big goal that you'll end up lost. Set little goals for yourself. Like, okay, so right now what I want to work on is I'm finding a C2 indicator, or hey, I'm trying to find a volume indicator, or hey, I'm trying to put my first algorithm together so I can get it to the private algo group. And that's also kind of why it's different groups within the Discord. It plays with your psychology, saying, okay, you're trying to chase after this title, but with that, you still making yourself a better trader at the end of the day. I gotta say, it really worked well for me. I would say, did that like the psychology of like it being like different tiers and it's achievable, would you say that helped y'all in your process a little bit so far?
Oh yeah, for sure. The getting into the private group was just kind of like a small win. It's just kind of like a symbol of like progression a little bit. Like I haven't done too much, but I do have something to show for the work that I've done, and it just kind of helps me stay motivated. And then having tiers to achieve towards, and seeing people in the groups that I'm trying to get into is super motivating. Like I see people in the private algo group for prop firm traders, and I'm like, yeah, that's where I want to be. So it just helps me just push even harder and just try to level up within the Discord, and just.
I agree definitely. When I got into the private group, I was like giddy for 2 days. I was like I was the king of the world. I am this badass trader that is in Europe, you know. So, but yeah, that's definitely my goal is of course, a private algo group. And I, honestly, maybe I don't know you, Chris. You are definitely more experienced, but the requirement for private algo group is 30% per year ROI and a profit factor of 1.3. That is a pretty tall order, I think, from my side. I mean, it's not very simple to get to that. I think it's a much bigger jump from public to private.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, to get to the private algo group, I think it's a much bigger jump than getting from public to private group.
For sure.
But
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with you on that because you just kind of go from finding two random indicators, putting them together to you have to have a whole algorithm that meet these requirements. But yeah. It's just kind of like like VP. He's not gonna just baby you all the way. I don't know. I kind of feel like the Discord are kind of like model after him. Like he's gonna get you in the door, and then he's gonna give you everything you need, and you're gonna do it. Because like in the private group, you can get indicators, you can get help, you can do almost anything that you want. And it's like it's so many people in there to help you with everything. And it's kind of like just think of it like a perspective like this. So it's 3 years. You have to get 30 ROI, right? 30% ROI. If you can get 1% ROI each pair, not even for every year, just 1% for all 3 years, that's 28% right there. Now the profit factor, that one is going to be kind of tough to hit. That one you're going to have to just keep playing with and eliminating your losses and everything like that. That's why the different metrics of the 65% win rate and the other ones is kind of like that. And also in my how to trade no nonsense forex video, that's why I had set those goals on like try to hit it with your 5 pairs close as you can. Like I done had multiple people who asked me, hey, I'm only getting 24% ROI. Should I keep this algorithm? Should I keep going? I'm like, hell yeah, you should keep it. Like you did all that.
If you have 24%, I would fucking keep it. Yeah, I would keep it if I have 10%. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I always be telling people just go for it, and it's like I always say just go ahead and build your first algorithm. I mean, I think Liquid said he had, but have y'all two actually built one full algorithm before?
I didn't. I built everything except the continuations. I didn't put in continuations.
Yeah, I haven't built a full algorithm yet.
Okay. But. So for Philip and Liquid, was your first algorithm the best thing since sliced bread? No.
I think the first one was actually negative. Yes. I didn't even break even. Yeah.
Yeah, sure thing. Same for me. My first algo, I kind of rushed things to build my first algo. I was so excited to build my first algo and all. And I knew it wasn't so great, and the competition showed that to me. But I had been trading the heck out of it anyway, because many years I have been trading like Fibonacci, Elliott waves, and the trading on your feeding and stuff like that. And so I said, even if I have this algo, I can pretty much make better than I have been doing the other years. And so I said to me, I'm good to go, and just gonna keep working harder to build a new one and the best one.
Oh, okay. And so now, Huxley, now your question is finna get answered. So we at the end, at the part of the podcast where now we're gonna kind of start opening the floor up, asking fun questions and things like that. And the first 2 questions I'm gonna ask is the first one: if you had to pick one person from the Discord that represent no nonsense forex, who would you say?
I think there are plenty of people, but last time when you when you asked it on the last chat, I wrote down Stomper. Stomper is a great guy. He's also from Croatia. That's why I kind of like him. Text it from time to time. But he is in private algo group. I know for a fact that he has at least 2 or 3 working algorithms. I know that he's using FX Dreama to tune, to test, to backtest. He's making his own EAs to test. So he is, he is at a further step. I think he's now developing a great algo for metal oil. And the thing is, he is very helpful on the Discord, and he is very aware of the psychological part. He's very aware of the risk management part, and you can ask him things, he will tell you, and I don't know, I just feel that he's focusing on the right things, I think, for me at least. Of course, all admins, everybody basically is helpful in a way, but if I have to choose one, I would choose Stomper. Do not go with Arch or Firelight.
Okay. Jordan or Liquid?
I don't know. I feel like everyone.
Nah, don't
for the
give me
most
that
part,
answer.
Kind of a tough question, this one.
No, really though, like everyone in the Discord is nice, and everybody's willing to help people, and we're all trying to get to the same place. I guess just for someone that's always just answering questions and stuff, I mean, I guess it's got to be, for me, Judge, just because.
I would say him.
The way that he answers questions, and really doesn't leave anything unresolved. Like, and he'll push you to almost answer the question for yourself. Like, he won't come out and just say it, but like he'll allow you to come to the conclusion yourself. So.
Okay.
That's A1 Ingram guy is also kind of.
Oh yeah, I really like that dude. And another question would be, so if y'all had to really just set everybody off in the Discord, in the general chat, what would you say?
I would probably say something about trend trading, or
I would go
or something.
I would go and say, guys, did you try doing this on like a 15-minute chart? Because like 15% a year is bullshit. We can do better than that if we just put our mind to it.
Oh my gosh.
Because when someone writes that, he is at such deep level of misinformation. You can't really explain it to the person that it's not as simple as that. But
yes. You probably have to learn the hard way.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I gotta say, last thing before we just have a complete open floor for the audience or y'all to start asking questions. Any advice that you want to give to anybody who's watching or listening?
I would say to the guys who have to go through the material and follow the plan. Just that, putting hard work, and you're gonna build your skills and evolve through this program.
Yeah, I would say definitely go through material, take notes, make sure you have everything down like the back of your hand, because when you go through your back testing, if your money management, like if you're not really executing your money management properly, then your results aren't going to be accurate, so you're kind of wasting your time. So just make sure you're putting all the rules into place, and you're executing your trades properly, so you're getting the proper results. That'll allow you to move forward faster.
Yeah, I would say I agree with both of them, and I would put it in a sentence like, try to drill down on the basics. It's not too much away from the base. Be sure that you know how to calculate your position size. Because I'm sure if you apply for Maverick Trading and they interview you, are going to ask you, okay, how do you calculate your position size? And if you don't have the NNFX, whatever tool, you're gonna probably have to do it manually on the spot. And if you don't know how to do that, that sounds kind of, like you don't know what you're doing. Definitely understand, just the basics. Don't be afraid to go through the videos 2 or 3 times. Don't be afraid to take notes. You're gonna make a shitload of mistakes, so just accept it. It's fine. It's a process of learning, and if you just keep chipping at it, you'll just get better and better and better.
Okay, that's good. Hey, y'all should feel good. Y'all actually got a shout out from Caprica. She thanks y'all.
Yeah.
So, I guess now, do y'all have any questions y'all would like to bring up or ask me?
Right, Sam.
I have thought about some questions about the algo build. What should we approach about the technical analysis? Can we talk about a little bit algo build, volume?
Okay, so
I was thinking. So one question that has been there in my mind, Chris. For example, in one of your videos, one of your podcasts, you mentioned that we could build a volume system rather than just a standalone volume indicator. And I have been trying to do this. What I did was actually I am using KikiWeave, that same version you put on your videos, which like a directional movement indicator, and I put a standard deviation along with a moving average crossover. This would work for me like a volatility indicator, and I combine them both to build something like a volume system. Were you referring to something like that?
I can say I wasn't directly referring to that, but that's a really good idea. And you bring up a really good point about no nonsense forest. What a lot of people really don't talk about is that yes, we still have our standard 6 pieces with our C1, C2, baseline, volume, exit, and ATR, but you can always add an extra volume indicator or a C3 indicator, or I guess another baseline wouldn't make sense, but another exit or anything like that, if it helps you filter out losses and it just overall helps your algorithm positively, I would say go for it, do it. But like VP will always say, just make sure you test it out. But I gotta say, that's really good that you just taking that initial step to just try and develop your own system and putting together different indicators, because that's that higher level thinking that you're gonna need whenever you, like you say, you actually start trading for a prop firm or just overall just building an algorithm. Because you remember what VP had said whenever he first started off with his prop firm, he had to sit there, build a whole algorithm together on the spot and trade that. And that kind of thinking, what you're doing right there with putting those indicators together and trying to create something, that's what you need. That's really good, man.
All right, and I must say, it took me a while, but I could actually get some final results on my back testing with this system. And I actually trading this system right now on this volume system, the same way I did. Improved a lot my drawdown, put much lower my drawdown, even though it did cut a lot of trades, because now you have like two conditions for a volume indicator.
If I can slip in, I think, Luki, that you actually posted standard deviation plus moving average indicator somewhere on the Discord. Am I right?
Yes, you're right.
That I knew that. I downloaded it and I'm testing it myself. So shout out to you. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, cheers, man.
But I also would like to ask one thing. Let's say in the private group, it's much more. People are much more inclined to share their ideas, their indicators, and their systems. I think that the more we kind of develop this area, we don't really care to hide information. Because if I give you my whatever indicator, it may work for you, it may not work for you. So I think this whole idea of I don't want to tell you, I can of course agree that you cannot share the whole absolute system with someone. But, I don't understand why would someone not share, volume indicator or whatever. It's just it kind of I don't understand it. No one is going to take it for you, and probably it's not as great as you think it is for many of people. So
yeah, it's definitely not gonna negatively impact you by giving an indicator to someone. It's like you're only helping someone and you're not hurting yourself. So I really don't see what the big problem would be. Now I can see you not wanting to give out just indicators and results to people in the public group that may not have like done anything at all. So yeah,
I agree, but even if you give it to them, if they don't have enough will to even backtest it for themselves, it's sure as hell not going to make any money with it. That's obvious.
We'll have to put in the work anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're just gonna go to the public indicator spreadsheet, and you're just gonna say, okay, I don't know, Cusco Starlight 70%. Okay, I'm taking that. Shaft trend cycle 75, 70, 68%. Okay, I'm gonna take that. Try mixing those two together, see what you get. It's not going to be as easy. So
Yeah, I think that's like one big thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like, even though, even like with this, I know with my YouTube system, the YouTube algorithm I built, and they basically have everything. But the one crucial part that they don't have is they don't have the settings for some of the indicators. Like for my C1 indicator, don't nobody know the setting for that, and that's like a big thing. And it's like I always view it, and that's like I always tell people, hey, you can have my some of the spreadsheets. Only spreadsheet I say no to is the news calendar. That's only set for private group members. I say, hey, you can have my spreadsheets. Hey, I can tell you some indicators, or I can almost do anything for you, because I kind of just see it as like being a good neighbor and saying, hey, can I borrow your hammer real quick to go finish up the job? Oh, okay, here you go. That's just how I see it.
I agree totally, and it's a great thing that you basically built the whole system, publicly for everyone. Even if my conviction is, even if you gave the settings for everything and you give it to someone who doesn't have the energy or the will to backtest it and forward test it and to feel that system, he or she is going to fail. That's my, like VP said in one of his videos, even if I gave you my whole system, you guys would find a way to fuck it up. Because you building of the system is part of making it profitable, in my opinion. Because even if he gave me his system, I wouldn't go trade it live right now. I would backtest it. At least I would backtest it for sure. So it's not that I don't trust the man, of course. It's just that I don't know what am I dealing with here. I need to understand it. I need to, see what's going on.
Hearing you say that, it kind of makes me think about, like, say, if somebody just give you an algorithm, you would like want to backtest and things, and it makes me think about, talking about EAs and stuff, all they do is just give you numbers, just like a random person would. They just give you numbers, say, hey, these indicators give you this results, and people be like, oh, okay, and go trade it.
And then you're 5 losses in a row, and then what? You're gonna take the next trade? I don't think so.
Yeah, how can you trust if you don't backtest it yourself, right?
Yes, exactly.
And
you gotta
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you gotta understand how all the parts play together. Like, you can give somebody just like the best C1 indicator, but if it doesn't work with their system, then it's just not gonna work. So like, you just the entire system, like the more I backtest and the more I get into no nonsense sports, like I'm starting to understand more of just like how the parts play together and just the importance of just the system together. Like, you could have just like 6 average indicators, but as long as they play well together, you could have a really profitable algorithm. But then you could have like the best indicators in the world, but if they don't play well together, then you could end up losing them. So
yeah, I agree. But I do have a question for you guys. Do you consider, think that baseline and volume, let's say baseline, you think there's like a good general baseline that you can use in most of the systems and maybe just tweak the settings? Or do you think that some baselines are going to work better with another pair of C1 and C2 and some are going to work better with another?
I mean, low-key, I'm kind of biased because I love my baseline that I always use, because I guess I guess I shouldn't say baseline. The indicator I like using is the all average because they have a whole bunch of different kinds. But I guess to answer your question specifically, I don't think it's like one good baseline that fits with a whole bunch of systems, just for the simple fact of that it's so many symptoms, not symptoms. I'm thinking about the illness systems that has where, like, say if the one ATR rule will be implemented, and it's just like you can set somebody one screen, so like you can sit somebody down like, hey, trade Euro USD from January to June, right? They have that setting. Everybody can have the same indicator. Like dude just said in the chat, you can use the 8 Osh. Give them that. Everybody gonna have a different baseline because everybody gonna tweak the settings where different candles get different results. So I guess basically, make a long story short, I think each algorithm needs a unique baseline.
Okay.
Yeah, I would also say it would help to have for each algorithm have a unique baseline, but I think there are baselines out there that would work reasonably well with, or at least like decent with any algorithm.
Yeah.
Just by making it faster or slower, because like you could have a really loose baseline, and then which I think when you have a loose baseline, you pretty much have to have an exit indicator because it's going to take too long for it to cross your baseline and get you out of trades. But then you could just speed it up, and then it would get you in and out of trades faster. I think you could use a baseline and just tweak the settings, and it would work just halfway decent with any algorithm.
That's good. That's interesting. Just that I think what I understand from my testing, maybe I'm wrong. The problem is if your baseline is too fast, I mean faster than your C1 plus C2, that can get you in a lot of trouble because then the 1 ATR rule will sometimes be in effect because your C1 and C2 will catch up too late. So, like you said, I think it's a little bit better to have a little bit looser baseline because you can always enter on a baseline entry. You can't enter, on a C1 cross when you are 3 times away from it. Of course,
that's one of the problems that I just ran into. Was I had a baseline that was too tight, and every time, by the time my C1 would catch up, the price would be too far from my baseline, and it kept me out of a lot of big trends. So now I'm going back and I'm trying to play with different baselines, and I'm looking at slower ones that play with my C1 a little bit better. So I'm not out of those big trades, and they're within the 1 ATR rule.
I have the same problem.
How do you guys feel about those color baselines? I myself am using on my algo that baseline. I got that from your YouTube channel as well, Chris. And he has the color condition as well to allow me to trade. And I believe I'm enjoying pretty much. How do you guys feel about that?
I don't understand what does color condition mean.
It's that it should change the color as well.
So if it's sloping down or sloping up, I did not test that, and the reason I did not test that because PP offhandedly specified one time that he is not looking at that, or maybe he was introducing it to us, and I'm not saying if it works, of course it works. Yeah. End of story. No, I didn't test that. I actually, when I use all averages, I turn the color off. I just have one color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tested that either. Chris, have you tested that?
Yeah, that's what most of my algorithm is built upon. But one big thing I want to tell everybody is that be careful where you get your indicator from and make sure you test for repainting, because for most of the times, for a lot of the indicators, those color repaint. So like, say it necessarily not about slope, but it's all about like market direction. So like, depending on how many candles that the how can I explain it? So like, say you've been in a very uptrend for a long time and you get a couple of bearish candles, it can still, I guess that could be actual video I should take, because it's kind of hard to actually articulate. But basically, it just shows the overall market direction with the colors and things, and that's what I like to use, because it kind of give me a better indication on where things go and everything like that. And that's one of the ones I use for my my prop firm algorithm.
That's great. I mean, always to just be sure, if you want to look at the slope, you can always check in the data window, the value of current candle and the value of the candle before. That's how you can determine, okay, it's a little bit slower and you have to be a little bit more focused. If you want to be absolutely sure, you can do that.
That's okay, or you should definitely check for repainting. Okay.
Yes, and I'm not sure who I was talking with this about last night, but we was talking about fast and slowness of a whole algorithm together. Was that any of y'all?
No. I asked you once, and you said something about opportunity cost.
There you go. That's what I was remembering. So, first, far as fast and slow algorithm go, like VP said, and I'll also say the same. It all depends on your personality. My personality, I'm kind of laid back and chill for it most of the time. So I can just make about 2-3 trades a week and I'll be okay. But some people need to be in and out of the market a lot, kind of like a scalper. And I mean, that's okay. You just need to build it for your personality. And I always like telling people, because at first they'll try to build algorithms like me, but I will give them a warning saying, hey, your trading psychology has to be better if you're going to trade it a little bit slower. Because what situations will happen is, it's going to be a lot of times for 2-3 weeks you won't have any trades, and you'll go to the Discord or you'll just go on social media and see all kind of trends, people getting all these kind of pips, and you just feeling like you left out in some sort, and you just have to wait for your time to come to be able to make some money. Like, I started off my evaluation in late April. From late April to last week, I only took 1 trade. But then this last week, I took 3 trades, and now I'm up over 3%. So it kind of you just gotta pick and choose your battles with that, with far as like fast and slow. And another thing I also want to talk about, as far as like fast and slow, if you're making a slow algorithm, at a minimum, what you will need is at least 1 trade per month. Try to get that, so at least 12 trades a year. Because if you get 1 trade per month on each pair, that's 28 trades in a month, and it's only 31 days. Or actually, it's actual trading days is less than that. Am I right, guys? I don't know about my math.
21, 22 trading days.
Yeah, so there you go. So just try and shoot for something like that at a very minimum. You don't want it where you only taking six trades a year, because that's too slow, and that comes into what I was talking about with Liquid last night about opportunity cost. So what opportunity cost is, and Judge taught me this, and I gotta say, it kind of awakened my eyes. It kind of showed me the light. Opportunity cost is where it's the cost of not being in the market. You're not being in the market, exposing yourself and giving yourself an opportunity to make money, therefore you're losing money. And there's a difference between just waiting for your time to come, as far as like trading. Like, okay, like I gotta say, for me, I missed the Euro USD rally and like all the Aussie rallies, but I caught the New Zealand rallies and things like that. But if just like overall totally, like let's say you made no trades in the month of April or May with all 28 pairs, that's opportunity cost. And you can't really, opportunity cost isn't something you can just actually give it a number to. It's kind of like just a concept. Does that kind of understand? Do y'all guys understand it?
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah.
I get you.
I get it. Yeah. Actually, one of my, let's say, fears. I mean, not fears, but like psychological hurdles would be to, open up the MT4 and see that I have 9 signals today. Okay, let's say that because of news, I can't take 2 of those signals. Okay, I still have 7. Now, out of those 7, of course, 3 are on or 4 are on, I don't know, Australian dollar. So I can split the risk a little bit, but my problem is I can't take basically all of those trades.
Yeah.
If I can't take all of those trades, then my backtesting results are not as mean. It changes the system because one of the trades that I don't take can be a big win or can be a loss. It doesn't really matter. So that I would preferably, ideally for me, would be that I never have more than 2 trades on the same pair. Of course, this is a high ask because you never know how the market is going to work. That's something that I know in my psychology would kind of freak me out.
Jordan or Liquid opinions on like opportunity costs and things like what Philip was saying?
I guess that's totally right. If you're not playing the market, once you have a consistent and a profitable algo, and if you're not playing the market, you tend to be losing money. I totally agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would also agree with everything that Olga said. You kind of have to expose yourself to opportunities if you want to make any money. And if you're out of the market, there's no way you're going to make money.
Yes. And also, one question I was wanting to ask you, Chris. Is the algo you're using for your evaluation program the same one you use when you get funded?
Of course.
Then, okay, same thing.
Yeah, I ain't gonna reinvent the wheel now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. Yes, okay. I was curious because for the evaluation program, you kind of run against the time, right? And so I was curious if perhaps you got some different setting or anything.
But I think speaking about like algorithm back testing, to answer a question that was happening earlier, as far as like splitting up your risk and trading and everything, just know that I don't know if you had watched that video. I think Philip, was that you who was asking that question, talking about like say if you had 4 Aussie trades?
Yes, I did.
So let's say all of them was long, and at a maximum you can only take 2% risk for long and 2% risk for short. Now for 4 pairs, that's easy. You can give all of them half risk. Now it kind of difficult, like say if you're in a prop firm evaluation and you having to split all your risk and everything like that. Now I can see where like the issue will come into play, but I would say that kind of like a hard question, because like other than splitting,
because VP said in that video, even said just pick one, and fair enough, pick one and okay. But my point is, if I backtest the 28 pairs, and now I have to miss some of those trades. I never know when a trade is going to be a win, a big win. One big win can be 2 or 3% of your account. We all know that, right? Even more. So I don't want to miss that trade. So,
when did VP say only pick one? I always remember he saying just split your risk up, because the more trades you make, the more likely you'll end up actually winning one.
I am pretty sure. No, I think he said that if you have more than 2 or something, he said just pick one.
I think he said you could pick one or you could split.
We were looking at both sides of the same coin. But
yeah, that is interesting because like all the statistics that you got from your back test, you back tested over 28 pairs. If you all of a sudden are just choosing not to take one trade, then you're going against what you back tested, you know.
Your results are already going to be skewed because of different factors, but now even skewing them more. If it's not a must, I would not. That's what I'm.
Yeah, I gotta say. So I guess Philip, in that situation, would you just do what VP said and only pick one, or would you split your risk accordingly?
I would split my risk as much as it is possible, right? So yeah, if I have 4 trades, I would split it 0.5%. No, I would, but even in that case, let's say one of them was a big win. That one big win would have been doubled if I had 2 trades that day. No, that's what I'm saying. I would preferably, in ideal circumstances, I would have an algorithm that would very rarely or never give me 2 trades same direction on the same day. So that's I mean we started the conversation between the balance of opportunity cost, fast algo, slow algo. I think as always, as most of the times in life, answer is somewhere in the middle. You don't want to be out of the market all the time, but you don't want to be in it too much. So,
I like that. And you is absolutely right.
Now it's a matter of just finding and tuning that system. Yeah, that's that small thing out there.
Okay. And y'all have any other questions or concepts y'all want to talk about?
Actually, I would like to make a question about news avoidance, because to me it's always so frustrating when you have to avoid any news. You miss a big trend, because many times the good trends come with the news, right? So I believe a few weeks ago I put up this question on the Discord about news avoidance. They led. Give me an answer. It goes with the one candle rule in that situation. That I like it very much, his answer, and then going this now on. I even have been testing, and it's been working well for me. And so I ask you guys to have your algo signals long entry position on the Aussie dollar, but there's news coming up that evening. The next day the news came up, price didn't quite move, and your algo is still go. So what would you guys do? Do you still should I still not take this trade, or do you just go for it?
Well,
I would not take the trade, but that's not the correct way. I think that if we can backtest it, and if it's working in backtesting better, I think it's much more important for me to stick religiously to the rules that I set.
And I agree with that.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
But I liked very much his answer, and I started putting the one candle rule for news as well. And I believe it's working well so far.
Right, amazing.
So,
and another thing to add to my backtesting.
Well, one thing I want to talk about, and I also give you a little bit of insight, because I know I'm a little bit further than y'all with actually trading and everything. What you can do is, and this is what I do, is I don't necessarily close the trade. I just move my stop loss up.
You move it to break even?
Or just wherever it is. So say, like you said, now if a trade is losing, I'm automatically closing my trade, or I'm just placing it right where. So it's either gonna be at break even or just at some point where I cannot lose anymore. because like I said, nobody wants to just exit a trade because of news and we miss a big trade, because that's what hurts us at the end of the day. And so a way that you can go about it is moving your stop loss to a safe point, to where it's saying, okay, from this point on, if I lose this much money, I'm okay with closing this trade. But if it moves with me, then I'm gonna just I like to treat it just like a trailing stop at that point. What y'all think about that?
I think it's good. It's fine. Yeah, it just makes you psychologically safer without risking anything, I guess. Actually lost on pound Aussie a couple of weeks ago, a trend of, I think it was like 2.5 ATR trend because of the news. I exited because of the news. Yeah. And I exited actually when it was below, so I took a small loss and I could have taken a reasonable win. Not a big win, but a reasonable win. And yes, it does get frustrating, but it just, I agree with Luki. If you can backtest it and if you see that it helps you, great. But like in live trading, changing that without testing it, I don't know.
Okay. And
Bruce, I got
go ahead.
I was just, I have a question for you. So I'm noticing you're back testing. You still write down trades that are past 1 ATR. So do you just do that to just kind of take a look at the results, and if it's more profitable, then you just keep them, and then if it's not, then you don't take 1 ATR rule trades? Or
yes. That's my sole purpose, because it's like, as I always make the comment about building the house and the blueprints and everything, and it's your decided on how you want your house to be built. Sometimes the 1 ATR rule works for some algorithms. Sometimes the bridge of far works. It kind of just depends on whatever suits you. That just the little nuances VP noticed that kind of works for the general everybody. And that's what a lot of people gotta make sure they take into consideration, is that VP made no nonsense Forex for the majority of people. You, by just getting into the private group and you just actually backtesting and everything, separates you from everybody, the 99%ers to the 1% of no nonsense Forex. And you, by getting in the private group and everything, that separates you again from that 1% group that VP is already teaching. And so from that point on, you building your own algorithm, you're gonna have to start developing your own little nuances and things. And one big thing that we've been talking about in the Discord a lot lately is that VP only gave us a small part of his money management with the 1 ATR rule, the trailing stop, and everything like that. Because I know that a lot of people are always talking about, well, how about we cut our risk in half of drawdown, or how about we do this in this situation, this and this and this. So what I always tell people do that is test it out. And the one reason why I know what I'm saying is true about how BP only gave us a small bit of his money management and like all the things he take into consideration before he take trades is look at the EVZ video. Never before did he even mention or hint that he talked about that. And it's like he just didn't wake up one day and just made that. He tested it out for a really long time and was doing that. Because remember, he would times he would reference whenever he was using the EVZ in 2014. But he never said anything about it. So he left that part up for money management for us to actually decide and create our own.
Yeah, I agree totally with you, and like you said earlier, he doesn't baby us in this, it's a structure, and he tells us go and put in the work. And I found myself plenty of times, being upset. Why doesn't he just tell me, just give me the algorithm, just give me the C1 or whatever. Like I said before, even if someone babies you through this, you're not gonna make it. That's the thing that we have to face and accept. No, that's something that we just have to. If you go through the Discord, I think most of the answers to the questions are, well, did you backtest it?
Yes.
we are all full of ideas. I'm sure that, four of us can write down 50, 60 different ideas of what we can try. It's not a problem. Just that, we have to back test all of that. And if it's working, it's working. If it's not working, it's working. I mean, if I could prove to VP that I can do an amazing trend lines, I mean, he would say, go ahead, use your trend lines. If you have a surefire way that you can draw a trend line, you have a sure, definite way when you use it, how you use it, then okay, use it. No, but just that you have to backtest it and you have to make a definitive religious structure on how you use it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Philip. I think it's important not to be too close-minded about no-nonsense sports, and just kind of always keeping an open mind towards new ideas and trying new stuff out, and just don't automatically dismiss it just because VP said like not to do this or something like that.
Of course, I'm not suggesting you use trend lines, just to be clear. But
had to put that disclaimer out there. But yeah, man, I gotta say, do y'all have any closing thoughts or statements?
I just wanted to say, well, first of all, thank you for having me on, Chris. And then I just want to say, as far as just one more comment about the Discord, like, I really don't have anyone that I can talk to about no nonsense forex. Like, all my friends and stuff, like, I've asked them to told them about forex and stuff, and like no one ever wants to like do it with me, but it just really helps to have a group of people that I can talk to this stuff about, because like the people that I associate with in real life, like they really just don't have any understanding of like what any of this is. So it just really helps to have some people that I can like talk to, and just like a group of people that just kind of like support me through this entire journey. So
yeah, I agree with Jordan. Totally. Thank you, Chris, for inviting me. Thank you for having the whole channel. And I agree that this thing can get very, let's say, lonely at times. So having a Discord is a lot of, psychological support. You know that people are going through the same thing, so it's a good thing. And makes me admire VP even more, to do all of this basically by himself. It's amazing. It's unfathomable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sure thing, guys. I want to say also that I'm very happy to be here with y'all. I feel really honored to be here with you. Thank you, Chris, for your invitation. That's it, guys. Hope you could understand my English from school. I'm sorry if I couldn't spell something so correctly, but that's it. Appreciate a lot being with you all, guys.
Hey man, I gotta first say I appreciate all y'all for just stepping up and just representing private members, and everybody who watching. There are also going to be another video that's going to come out tomorrow with some more private members, because actually there are more people that wanted to join and stuff, and so I wanted to make sure I keep each one of these podcasts full of good content and not just kind of just stuff y'all with a whole bunch of different stuff. That's why I want to keep it to a small group of people who are successful, in my opinion, and doing like what they're doing, because each one of us have talked about our hardships, but at the same time we still talk about we're making progress. Even through our hardships, we're talking about it, we're communicating, we're getting better, we know what not to do. We never take a mistake as a mistake. It's never an error. We only see it as learning lessons. And I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every one of y'all who watching this video, and for most definitely who was a part of this. Philip, Liquid, and Air Jordan, I appreciate y'all, and if there's anything y'all need, y'all can always hit me up like y'all always do, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. Cheers to all you guys.
Hi guys, it's been a pleasure.
All right,
Okay,
see
looking
you
forward
later.
for the video tomorrow. I'll be there supporting as well.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
Yeah, me too.
I appreciate it, man. And everybody who watching, like, comment, subscribe. Have a wonderful day.
Okay. Bye bye.